Three buy low running backs walking into week number 8. Three guys you need to buy now. Win a league type players. Running back ones trapped inside potentially running back 2 type value. In some cases, even more obscure value than that. The Fantasy Football Show, buy low before it's too late show, begins right now. This one's easy, ladies and gentlemen. The number one buy low running back in fantasy football, period, right now. Gibbs is off the table. Gibbs was that guy last week, the week before, as people kept saying, Smitty, he's the backup. He played second fiddle to Monty, Smitty. Now everybody's chirping at Achane. Achane's not very good, Smitty. He just hasn't been good lately, Smitty. They've got too many mouths to feed, Smitty. Now, everybody knows Tua's coming back. Everybody knows Tua is probably the player that makes this thing go back to normal, right? What was Achane in week 1? Top 2 running back. What was Achane in week number 2? Top 2 running back. In fact, to be exact, the man was running back 3 in week number 1, running back 2 in week number 2. He had a touchdown in week 1, only 24 yards rushing, but he had 7 targets, 7 receptions, 76 yards, was an absolute monster with the touchdown. Week number 2, as I said, running back number 2, he had 96 yards rushing, no touchdowns on the ground, but he had that receiving tutty, another 7 targets, 7 receptions, 69 yards. He was an absolute monster. Obviously, the numbers aren't great for anybody on the Miami Dolphin roster, from Tyreek Hill to Waddle to Achane without Tua Tagovailoa. But Tua is back this week. And while there is some threat that he could get popped one moment, one play, be out for the rest of the year or his career, the risk is baked in type of situation. And Achane could take you to the promised land. And you might say, Smitty, well, why would somebody buy low? If I'm interested in him, if we're all backing this man, why would anybody sell him now that Tua is ready to come back? Like, why now? Why would anybody contemplate it? They've been waiting this long because you don't know their situation. Yeah, maybe someone that has 4 or 5 wins that's been waiting on Achane might not trade him. Maybe they're a Dolphin fan. I can't control everything, but I can tell you that when you pile L after L on top of L after L, and you're looking at 2 or 3 wins, you can't afford any sort of mistakes. And the natural inclination of people sometimes is to say, this is too good to be true. I want to break up with the player before they break up with me. Let me be the one to go get ice and not come back. You'd be surprised the attachment issues people have in life in general. And there's a stronger chance that somebody that comes from a divorced family is willing to not trust Achane. And that might be the case. Maybe that's part of your data. Maybe that's part of your analysis process. But I'm telling you, seriously, I'm telling you, this man is going to be very, very, very easy to be had in maybe 7 out of 10 situations because of the fear that if he goes out there and lays an egg with Tua back, then he's got no trade value, because that's the only hope any buyer might have is this guy better pop off this week with Tua back or he is toast. And the owner that has him right now that's got 2 or 3 wins is vulnerable to that kind of thinking. Go buy him low. Buy him now. He's a running back 1. He's capable of not just being a top 10 running back, people. He's capable of being number 2 to 5 overall from here on out. I don't know what his total will be at the end of the year, given the very spotty play as of late because of Tua going down. I can't promise you the end of the season he's going to rank in the top 5. But this is a guy that could catch up really quickly, and it wouldn't shock me if he was in the top 5 at the end of the year, even with all the mishaps at the beginning of the season for him. But don't count on that. Don't worry about that. What you got to worry about is what is he going to play like from here going forward. And I say top 2 to 5 running back. And remember, the doubt around Achane was huge walking into the year. And right now, people don't like to talk about what I just showed you, that he's running back 2 and running back 3 in the first 2 weeks of the season, that he ranked inside the top 2 running backs overall. If you look at just weeks 1 through 2 combined, he was running back number 2 overall through 2 weeks of football. All you hear someone say when they describe Achane is, yeah, what a disappointment he's been. He's been a total bust this year. He's not been a total bust this year. He was an absolute stud, a top 2 running back stud in weeks 1 and 2. And you can get him now as if he never flirted with those numbers at all in weeks 1 and 2. This is the easiest thing to see coming. It's got all the risk baked in. If he doesn't quite deliver on the value we're expecting, Tua coming back will certainly put him back in the high-end running back 2 territory, even if he was inconsistent. And that's going to be what you're paying for right now. it's a win-win situation for you going after Achane. Buy him this week, like I told you to buy Gibbs last week, and the week before, and the week before, and the week before. The window to buy him is closing. The Tua Tagovailoa return isn't cementing him into everyone that owns him into their roster on the assumption of everything's gonna get fixed. People are petrified that if it doesn't fix it, he's done. Put a fork in him. That's what people are thinking, and that's why you can get him low. JT, some of the same thinking I just described with Achane you could apply to this situation. Yeah, he's coming back. Why would the owner, Smitty, it doesn't make any sense. If I want him, why wouldn't someone else want him? It's the same concept. It's the same concept. Is he going to leave me before I leave him? That's what people are thinking. Because if he goes out there and lays an egg, or he goes out there and gets injured, or he doesn't produce the new value you have real quickly to trade him, because he is returning and you can sell that to somebody, right? You could sell it a little lower than if he blew up, but you're like, I'm willing to take the risk of selling him a little bit lower, kind of playing with the house's money at this point with the return, the hype. I like these two players over here. Everything revolves around, is the owner that has Achane 2 or 3 wins deep? Or do they have 4 or 5 wins? If they got 5 wins, they're not going to trade a player they've been waiting on. That's what you need to understand. You can't come to me and say, Smitty, I tried. What did the owner have record-wise? 4 wins? They're not going to trade Achane or Taylor. They're not going to trade Kupp or Debo or Nico. You go after Nico right now, one of the better buy lows in fantasy. No one's going to sell him if they've got 4 or 5 wins. But the truth of the matter is 80%, if I had to guess, of people that own Achane have 3 wins or less. 80% or maybe even 90% of people that have JT have 3, maybe 2 wins only or less. So these owners are in different situations than you are. So stop thinking, well, if I wouldn't trade JT, why would they? You need to take a swing. And scared money don't make money. You miss all the opportunities you don't swing for. So go ahead and
swing, Merrill, swing.
Go get your boy JT. And you're buying him low enough that if he doesn't deliver high-end running back 1 numbers, but like flirts with the running back, high-end running back 2, low-end running back 1 numbers, you're still getting your value back. This is a low-risk proposition. Injury's the only concern because he can't stay healthy. But at this point, if you're trading right now, you're probably in a bind anyway, and he is worth a swing if you need to swing. Pacheco, this is a running back 1. It's just a matter of when he gets in there. And his injury was thought to be a lot worse than it ended up being. And that was bad, shoddy reporting, but it is what it is. And most people don't know that he's probably coming back to a full strength capability. Maybe not week 1 when he returns, but this guy, like Debo, like Puka Nacua, might just hit the field a whole week or so sooner than what was expected, what's being reported. And it could come out of nowhere. And upon his return, you might think, oh, Hunt's going to hold him off. I don't think he's going to. There's a chance he does, but you're buying at a value that's packaging in that risk. It's baked in, and I think it's worth the attempt, because if you can get him with another player in some sort of 1 player away trading for 2, he's a great addition to that. So if we were to go to the board real quick and say, what are some trade propositions, Smitty, I could toss out there for these guys? Let's say you have Ja'Marr Chase. No one wants you to trade Ja'Marr Chase. If you're winning, you shouldn't trade Ja'Marr Chase. That would be near moronic to trade Ja'Marr Chase if you're winning. But if you're not winning, you have to turn him into 2 players, and you probably got to do it now before these opportunities dwindle away. And if you can go get, let's say, a player like, you could even go get Lamb, because Lamb is such a concern and question mark versus Ja'Marr Chase. You could get a Pacheco pretty easily if you were to do that type of trade. You could probably, I don't know if you could get a Lamb and a JT or Lamb and an Achane, but if you put Achane in this situation, and again, I can't emphasize enough, you're not making this trade if you're winning with Chase, but if you're losing with Chase, what good is he to you? Use the value. If it's something along the lines of Nico and Achane, or something along the lines of, you could have this week before that Thursday game kicked off, got Puka very easily. You could have probably got Kupp very easily. Those are now off the table. Those are trades I suggested for weeks to make. This type of trade. Those players are off the table. Hill might be available. Maybe you don't want Achane and Hill. I get it. Maybe you get Pacheco and Hill. This is the kind of move you can make right now. It doesn't have to be exclusively to Chase. Maybe you got JJ. I don't like trading either one of them. Look, maybe you got Barkley, but you weren't winning. You were decimated with injuries. And Barkley, Barks is a guy you don't want to trade, and it's foolish to trade him. But if you're losing with him, you have to. So maybe you're going after a package like this. I tend to look at it this way. I want, if I can, at least one player that can all by himself kind of compete with the player I'm giving up. So if you were to trade Barkley for Lamb, you're getting something pretty significant here, like a Pacheco, like a potential player that, let's go to the board here, and I could probably put up, I got my buy low list here. This is for week number 8, so we'll pull up the buy lows and take a gander at these guys. So you could probably get away with, in a Barkley for Lamb trade, you could probably get maybe Nico if you're lucky. Nakua was available, now he's not. Laporta, certainly could get him thrown in. Hard to imagine getting Achane, but you try. Definitely could get Pacheco. Not get Neighbors, but you could maybe get an injured Metcalf. You could probably get Walker and Nico, Taylor and Nico for one player. But, you got to make sure you get the right combination, or you'll end up screwing yourself, out of any chance. That's how you go get these 3 bad boys. Go do it live. Fix your teams. Take control of your destiny. And don't give up. I don't care if you've got 2 wins, 1 win. I don't care. Don't give up. You could win. I've seen people come back from 0-6 deficits more times than you can imagine. Every year, I see hundreds of people, screenshots, messages. Smitty, I was 0-6 and now I'm totally crushing. Achane, Taylor, Pacheco, do it live. Don't forget to get on over to my Patreon. It's a live chat environment. That's basically what I use Patreon for. $10 a month, cancel anytime. You just live chat. I got a trade question. Huge, amazing community. Very responsive, 24/7 availability. And on top of that, I do audio live streams. I don't want to say every day because there's some days I don't. There's some days I do too. And they're all recorded. And as soon as I'm done, I repost them in the articles section. So the Patreon's basically articles or posts and then the live chat. That's it. It's very simple, but it's awesome. It's powerful. It's very useful. So when I do an audio live stream and you just see it pop up like Smitty's Live, you click it and then you can chat and ask questions, and it's just me talking to you guys and having a little like Twitter Spaces type of audio live stream inside Patreon. Then I publish it for replay value for anybody that missed it, or let's say you work early mornings and you never catch the audio streams. You'll be able to replay it. Go do that. $10 a month. Patreon.com/The Fantasy Football Show. Link in description. And don't forget Underdog. Play Underdog. Code Smitty. Link in the description as well. 50% match on your first deposit. All the way up to $1,000. So make sure you're doing hires and lowers and drafting a Week 8 team. Don't let your season crumble and just walk away and say, I'm done. I'll see you next year. You can reset at any moment on Underdog. I'll see you all later. Don't forget to visit theattic.shop. Amazing sponsor here on the channel. They sponsor the phone line whenever we hit the dial into the phone lines. You see the Attic, attic.shop, theattic.shop. Go check them out. Appreciate you all. See you on the next one, and I'll see you live tonight on the show. Because I'm live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, but I'm also live additionally when big news breaks, and additionally live most midnights, and live after every single game. Doses.